This is Wadu TV. Truth and integrity.
I was Yama Munina from Wadu TV, so ye best show. On my first time, I subscribe and I inquire him. But like video, comments or comment section, we are not share at my say. Na Yaa Titi Afenyo Markin so Afenyo no go bisa say obi nkosa agbaja we say palu go say yo appointment committee no say hwe esa papa we kra etobia enti se bi onyansa ni bi ani MPP mo wetime tu Afenyo Markin fo ana ena wo sore ade open no ye ase wona MPP ani dia asa wona Ghana ye ne dia ena se bi owo di nsemfo sa no ade na innocent Ivan so atie ginam was it just a man a team no ye nim panyimfo bi o mbaye no mama yakoma to ye mama nyam puntu na mebunu nye dwumayo to bia fa no hwadwe Yaa Titi afa ya Ivan so girem yonkoti bi
Honorable Afenyo Markin wa display ne ma bebre wa Ghana emudia wase ye kan ho asem no de ya kan ho asem but enra ade a esi wa Emma me hu say is either say Honorable Afenyo Markin have an agenda for himself, or probably, or person say NPP party. That's all. You see how arrogant he reacted. Just say, "Ahomaswo mimbuadie." This is the same attitude that no more bear no display. Say NPP penyufo anymore. Adiana Afenyo Markin yana momia manu amorhwe na amoma ne France no or say mo party no but munim. It is because mo akasa so no ahomaso wo mumu arrogance na ye ka wasema na mudi tia ba mu no in opposition kra arrogance na so ye adwuma wo mumu eti munim say adiana Afenyo Markin ye ne ya agenda to spoil the party or agenda for himself. Wow, Afenyo Markin is trying to get attention or attention keke. Or say the what system ni our headlines. Afenyo Markin this, Afenyo Markin that. Every day near body no party no mudi kwafom. It's the NPP party no or sign no much one more no and a more money fans. And one of the most white minority leader, vibrant and dear minority leader, and a woman the first in Hunu, and one also did some Hunu. Adiana Honorable Afenyo Markin our agenda, NPP for the Munima catch them our agenda. Moon Kwaswana Mumona Bomo, Namon man the first, Namon Tuno, and Samamonium, Namon shedding Christ and Yano on ye. And you see, Adiabakwa was Samuti Asiana say. Party Anamukita Konya 137. Montimia Ria was to say, near Kramusisi Ekran, Ebu Aqua. Yes, because everyone, declaration or constituency, James and acquire IPAC meeting and Niabre say, 2025 is one of the most successful elections in the history of Ghana. No. Monina ya kwalabo any ya declare election our constituency ni ababa coalition center ni ya redeclaration ni ya court ni ya recounted and no crampo more numbers sekita more parliament. It tells you the level of gravity Ghana for buafumu amo arrogance na mu display ya na bu abamu no ama mu ho ya Ghana for hi but you don't know. And one giant Honorable Afenyo Markin, why no? If you appointed committee no or Betraswa or pursue a criticism, I don't know because with him, sir, appointed committee, we are one Juma. Afenyo Markin did the Bayan of Betimia Yabim. Maybe I have kind budget and Obakas way the day, and they are council now obey the day. Parliamentary business, and about Afenyo Markin cannot do anything. Without many micro minority, no, it's a parliament, no, ultimately who take. Even with your numbers 137, no more sakra bemuno. And then ya na mutibi yamane broso. Than to connive and steal. And tell no me shadia na across so committee so and look here, see bibi. Minority for no more parliament no. Mumu bebre mo nyini echa Afenyo Markin ba Afenyo Markin e the agenda control mu and wo all dia go wa madwen ho ba munim say he's playing games with your minds. One said no, you are here and I say, any as sorry, any nomination no cry, I reject it, any plan, I won't play for me. One rejected the nomination of the deputy attorney general, so what? And so what? I know that the best master, and Mrs. Sacre. Now, minority follow so, and John. I'm sorry, dear Chile. You are not even ashamed of yourself. Just a measure and Kofua Ghana for how one more. I'll sorry, I'm a chair for sunlight. At to a bama, Papa Penny for our mom who quite am a politics and do about Ginny Diablo. Then the papa could air control. Are you for real? Now, Enra, her display no display war. Pay a committee no sono. Redraw, 3 times or 7 redraw. She say, on Budi Pabia. Committee members now no to one on Buabia. What am I mean? Chairman who come from Serbia, no, or displayed. She said, no man, no, I'm not see her crano, or new Buaba could say my woman. He couldn't even realize to say, baby, I was here no. I him for her. Baby, I know what's here no. Not Ghana for do to a radiano. Or semi redraw. Whimsical and capricious. Wow, some grammar fuma kesi when no we confuse you. Wabu followers and not dream what my dream of sending panu di madia ma onim hute. I mean, what nonsense is this? Sha appointment committee adwuma say nipa na ma panya boni din so won koye adwuma bi no. Ye toto na no ne ya hwe capacity. E won entertainment grounds. Eti ha Fasana na Afenyo Markin can want some say Deputy Attorney General on sorry no one display because a hono a entertainment grounds on sorry no one sa no one here Afenyo Markin na kasa sasa no right for video no to so dance na no wa catch Deputy Attorney General na say on sa na wano dia wonim sa asa do no one teda ono ya nwunani ba friend what sa asa no e no no bi ka cha bi say ya asa na papa ne ka wasam na nu ne ono amukura sabi. It is like Afenyo Markin nye serious business na akoso wa committee no so no enya adwene atachire no ni ti no ho owo because of attention or because of person crofo body din or person crofo who say ha Afenyo Markin do abasa o on dia obisa questions sa o ti bi bisa na no ba ko no na ya John Dumelo ana obisa no say the parish priest o say hwan wo hefa na ni din de sen wey obi a oya body din say wan koye deputy Greek minister obisa no say ne so fu din de sen ne kanhwa asana na Afenyo Markin kan ho asem na ni enti enra say na na ko pass wadane appointment committee grounds no e was say wo bisa wo ho say Afenyo Markin were interest our the constituency for no mo say adie na yasuma no so wo meye no eno wadwuma no ye ya da say ono an interest and wo serve and enra wo hwe ne ye na asama boa me ho ne baba eti mia na manim ne me pesa me beye Chesan or semen chesan 3 times forgetting sending him before I him for no. And Stephen Tim one I national chairman by PP. Stephen Tim what's out for all contest and me catch that was say contest ya wo kwai wo kwakra na we ni a ye be render useless for party I told you wo ka sa me buanti na obu afu me catch wo Wubufu me ma wuma e di kra frame sese wadwa sima kwaka se national chairman na wo kɔ no nya dia beti bia ye adwuma bia sese who is in charge of NPP somebody should answer it because party no obi e keka do obi e cancer hunu Henry ina na bi nam ke cancer hunu ahiagba ordinary ke cancer hunu Samu Safa Salam bi no se hwan no wode akwa dia nsam funku no ndam no waka and obi a mo mpa ya ma president Mahama ensasidi na wo bie wa no kra bo mpa ya no mitika wa no tum ye hia wo mpa bo who is in charge of NPP and mama Afenyo Markin wo kwan wo go party na ni mase and ma dwen ya mo se o ye mu ye o sai no by the time am be wo se wa sai NPP no ala wa kubar ground be hey mo be bra rob no opposition mo be tira wa che eniema mo ye wa ba mu Ghana for the two mo no in opposition you are even displaying more and I'm mo say mo ye propaganda keka eniema enimu a eno na be ma Ghana for agina de asesa eno amete se mo se de say to force wa domestic borrowing wa borrow over 50-something million Ghana cedis and I'm say hey I read am hu dia monye fake news and I said the MPP fo ani abre hu no mo generate every day be am propaganda foforo every single day and you see this time around Sajandam no enya kwan tenase o ye no ye ni abre say was say Ghana ye enye in the interest of NDC. It's in the interest of young Ghana for. It is a young people. You know what Jenya will say? Who percent a buying failure? Yeah, who battery and see will come after you. It is Sanya Mahuna Afenyo Markin see committee in Suna or Yeno. Anyway. And MPP as a penny party. Mejino wa mensiasio. After penny be MPP party him and as some hunu kwan de koso Richard anya gwana be sori aya press conference asimo abeka kure ni tire ni nan na da bi be ka bi assembly ni tire ni nan you know why it is because it's like most of them no corrupt cases are related to them. Eti wa be so obo ye niam bia Ghana for adwen be ye o se obi tan wo obi an time mo hwe time anam wa ba mu no eniam anam wo ya ne ye ka hwasam no ne ye nim de ye ka o obi an time wo bia the last time I said say obi an time na na do and obi an time ba umia ba ye ma ho kwan mo bi before my na kuma ni agro that one is a fact. Enti panye bia ni MPP mu a obetimi ate Afenyo Markin say aye ye na China wo ji wudi dodo. Enti say Afenyo Markin is riding on NPP and they orchestrate on no agenda e woni tim. Or jini din and what say party ne wo form. It would take somebody who have a political eye to know the damage Afenyo Markin is causing NPP. When you want party no more or my check and what my bro when him dear waban your some dim come on. They always tell me, say yeah, just say ya kasa. Now say one more year executive the party then him say one month tia Afenyo Markin. Onya de oye don't call yen ya boy ya bra boy we near was ya party no ya we say ya no person mo corner they should carry on. But me I never catch that Steven Tim say who is in charge of NPP? Because I say, yeah, render useless. Oh, as I was shooting for so a party, the minimum so customer yentio, Sasanyo. It's like as I would charm my now, you know, me, so proud to campaign you know to elections, you are missing. You are nowhere to be found. Menaka Wajene, ya can say, Richard and Yabamu, and I know about Jadiana Bosso. Who now Yana Sachama Guania? It would take somebody who have a political eye to know that Adiana Afenyo Markin, you know, on one agenda.
Expectations of Ghanaians, you know, also. Yeah, because so here the last 8 years, baby a Ghana kwana nam, and near my Ghana who, and the Ghana kum, the economy, education, employment, just every facet of our Ghanaian society has suffered some level of your friends saying degradation, including even forest. Water bodies, everything in this country in the last 8 years has suffered to a certain level. So this whole new government coming in place, you know, offer a certain renewed sense of hope to the average and the ordinary Ghanaian, hoping say something new is going to happen. Okay. So and so now is an opportunity for President Mahama, first of all, to chronicle baby a ye free ba. Because you say we nimba be free bar, you will not know where you're going. Yes, it is important to say over cultural Ghana for where we want to go, but it's also good. Say remind you where we are coming from. Say in our way forward, you know, ever guiding on our next steps. Now you go slip into what happened in the past. And in terms of the economy, the Ghana phobia, Ghana nibia a relief in terms of doing businesses and as for one major thing has to do with this. Your friend is saying taxes are now lawyer I can't want some Ghana near or Wabonsia Cobra, what me a to address or the buffet. Taxes are just so good so at the port, no? Not car no own to me, the urban say are buying for. Wow, car cobra when you were bound to obey their man, a girlfriend, or maybe a crowd to Yakra. So some of these taxes are a good pot, no? I see about more near you know, because taxes in the dancer him. Ghana and Kwana COVID-19 buy area man for edge. Your friend say unemployment benefit for the COVID. No, we were paying taxes, COVID taxes, and several other way. Impose a lot of economic burden on the average Ghanaian. So I am just looking, say, some of the taxes that President Mahama also promised. So obey free or like the COVID, like the betting and other way, no, or offer a certain economic ground to be for the average Ghanaian. Sabaya that pressure, no, obey free or one major thing. A bone of contention. And personally, I was on radio, TV, everywhere speaking against it. Your friend is saying the e-levy. The e-levy, tax as a binyansa be anim. Taxes, you know, we have tax regime everywhere. What you do, they say, you stifle economic growth. And I say economic transaction are a cost to businesses. So the profit that people get, you know, that is what you target. But if we get to a point that where government begin to tax amount for principal, because I mean Sandisika will be a business. Exactly. And your profit, your friends say oriented enterprise, we are over the tax free. But then Sikano da bank account now they buy momo so I better we free momo so I better. So some of these things, you know, Emma this cashless society na person here no ebetimi akosoro. I think say taxes are one major thing President Mahama will have to look at it. Na ohu hawa yebetimi relieve the burden, because I believe say me widen the tax net to cover larger areas. We will be able to get a lot of revenue, and some of the informal sector, no, businesses and transactions they don't go through any system. So we should be able to formalize all these transactions, the business activities, you know. They go through a certain proper channel. About for government manage taxes. And never acquire major challenge with rent. Yeah. Every single person in this country. Yes. Rent, you know, this is what happens. Last year, I'm behind them. I catch you say 500 Ghana cedis a month. I feel a share, you know. Now, yeah, 500 near 2 to 800 without no indication, nothing, and any part in the discretion and at home. But I'm saying some of these sectors, you know, any regulator within any formal process, you know, Nippon is carrying you now or no, or Bonitimano or two, just kind of good bottom. But I think that if we are able to look at a system, I bet me I'm making sure, because I don't believe that even house owners across should be giving houses out to people. There should be a system or be able to register a dime, making sure that Ghana need pet dime. You don't deal with a household agent and as a owner. No, now a system. Bet me go through. I bet me regulating prices and no kind of effort to your 6 months, 1 year. Now yet me yes I never when a lot of relief say rent yet me the marane aduma now the more the highest I bet me just 6 months. I trust me a lot of people will survive in this country. And I'm saying those in Yamanu Hunti no Obia that's already and Yam can not to told Dimusa Basa and now a crowd per day when you win and you'll be our back crowd by national service 1 year or behind that you see 2 years. Now, or 1 year, we are 1 year and I can never tell my son papa never tell them. There should be a system that should regulate some of these things. Not easy governance. And inshallah, idea who be out. Sadly, my petty way. Who say anyway, no. If we are able to do some of these things, rent issue, cry, resolve. Trust me, a lot of young people will be able to put your friends saying life together, because what better when you see can behind down over 15,000 Ghana cedis. I got behind down. I got They would be gum and send a juma ben over ben what all that government has to do is to implement existing laws just to ensure say a man for will go through proper channel. Yeah. So I think it's one area social way we need to look at. Now they COVID. Ehun sensem said na papa is kan ehun near ma corruption and other related way meaning say ora a lot of activities in as for them. We need to know the next line of action because we've seen that afraid way you know. I'm sure the government is really committed considering how they are going about it, but I think that assurance must also come. Okay. Ghana for because there are a lot of people who still don't believe that this whole thing is real. You understand? Yeah. So I think President Mahama will have to reaffirm his commitment to the fight against corruption and making sure that individuals are more far they don't go scot free because Yamakacha said Yatikroma at the end of the year, Sike kwa man for bottom, Esuchen Sike kwa man ho. And we cannot continue to live in a country that particular thing will happen. So we need to be very frontal and very aggressive in our quest to fight corruption and so forth. So I think it's one major thing that will have to be considered. And again, job opportunities for young people and so forth. Like I just say, in anywhere in the world, that young people any Jumaebiano pursue national security threats to our very existence, our coercion and everything. Yeah. So government will have to make sure say some of these things will come to stream. Because maybe the best way to free unemployment team as this 24-hour economy President Mahama can if we are able to go the industrial way, setting up some of these enterprises overnight. I bet me employ a man for and then also I'll reduce this pressure of going out there to import Nema Abakroma rice and Nema be a import to crowd here we embassador. Not yet young people are just gallivanting on the street of Accra and Ghana or when near Jumaya. When some of these yet me yes I never win you know a man for being Jumaya day and night as Sika a carbon thing a crab more for instance Ghana to me far over there 250 million and I come at Thailand say they crab more. When majority of young people are descending from the north, land the war, Abetena Kumasi, Ebe Kayaye, Nabaumia Kacho say Obesi, your friends hostels are more, when these people you bet to invest to ensure that this large scale farming, rice farming somewhere, no? Yeah. I bet me across my mom for I see that Ghana has a lot of potentials, both natural, your friends say human, everything. All that we have to do, me say, you bet me, you bet me a position of mine. So President Mahama will have to speak to Ghanaians and also assure them because the last leg Ghana democracy, so this Mahama government because of the experiences Ghana have in the past. There are a lot of people who don't even believe or have faith in democracy anymore. You understand? So this is an opportunity to assure Ghanaians and reaffirm that commitment. So going forward, institutions of state will run to their fullest way. And they are string controlling state institutions. They are working at the behest of certain individuals in power, but not in the interest of these people, Ghanaians. Ghana for once again have hope and believe in the state institutions. Not Ghana for the support of the campaign because you can work alone. Yeah. You need to enlist the collective support of the people to be able to achieve whatever that you do because all that you are doing is to provide direction. The workforce is the people. Once they have trust and believe in the system, they say the system will work out. Trust me, things will work out. But never be a cause for parliament. Afenyo Markin and the veteran and so forth. Yeah, we're talking about trust in the state institutions. So we have Nema Brante with appointment committee anymore. Oh yeah. Then you begin to wonder, say, you're quite any say, this serious, your friend is saying, committee ayate. Their job is to interrogate and find out, say, yeah, I am minister. Ajumano, you have the capacity of it, me, and as own to me, your phone now, knowledge, or what to say. Nipana, but offend ever catch and say, on Messa, Baja. And I'm Messa, your friends are Bobo, our parliament, I will be here. When you reduce some of these serious businesses to some of these things, people will not attach any seriousness to it. And I like the reaction from the chairman. The chairman. But you see, MPP as a political party should be also be very, very, very careful. The fact that we lose political power and doesn't mean hey you are descending into abyss forever. You need to build hope, and in building hope, this silly approach is not the way to go about it. You understand? This arrogance, this belligerence, or that kind of silly way. I'm not sure say is the way to go. You don't sit in parliament and use such an honorable institution to be furthering personal agenda in this particular manner. That was the comment people were making about this, what happened yesterday in Parliament. Among for expecting saying we have ushered ourselves into a new phase. The new phase, with a renewed hope, with a renewed sense of responsibility. Among for expecting that politicians will live up to that particular billing. Because we said new narrative. The narrative should include doing things differently. But these people go there and the way they behave so amateurish and so infantile to the extent that sometimes you begin to wonder, say, stage now where you hope is a are they really there? You ask people to go to parliament and dance bobo. Abra will be out to another other dances. Now parliament will be a new order. So I think that we need to get serious. So now there are things that we are hoping say Afenyo president ever made the address. And we are hoping say he will be able to assure Ghanaians because among for with this new government the hope na shall say but the old no and never tell what the future will be. So I'm expecting say on rising up to the occasion and the many promises also I'll make here in the manifesto and the assurances that he gave to the people of this country. In terms of Galamsey, I've seen a lot of your friends say we are go around the minister and Ashanti regional minister the minister at the sector yes engaging people we need to do a lot just to ensure say some of this environmental degradation through amount for greed for modern way stop it will depend on the decisive action by government just to ensure that these areas are red zones. They are red areas. You don't just step in because if you do there will be consequences. Now state no moment sponsor or motivating and incentivizing people to go into ventures end up destroying our own life in as a forum. That is the kind of assurance and the commitment Ghanaians are expecting. So 10 o'clock it will start. I think that the expectations are quite high. So you're back. Now what about that the ewom dia no yesen ba be kan kire Ghana for but the mission say ye betimi aye a renew amount for hope na amount for abamumu ko bebre titifia because of the akufo adubaye in the last 8 years omo abamabu. We need to rebuild that particular hope, inspire confidence and ensure that Ghana new once again rise to the occasion and believe their government is up to the task. The government is committed to doing things that will benefit them. The government is not there to satisfy individual greed. Then I say for Nambum, work to the satisfaction of the people of this country. And trust me, this country will get better. That's around Power Chroma, Oko Airport. Young people are move through Chroma and not the Ketwa. Yes, because there is this veil of hopelessness and desperation. What we are school, we near Jumaya. A friend of mine, even in the real master's program now, a friend also go Dubai. Oh yes. Because masters in Dubai, so you cannot blame him. The opportunities and those there is absolutely nothing here. You understand? So I think that this is something that we need to work on to rebuild hope. In our own country, I can live here and survive. He has been here all along. Uber call me 1,000 Ghana cedis. You bet you 1,500 Ghana cedis. Now what's a crack? And I said such sikan editor but that's survival. So we need to just to ensure that we stimulate private sector the growth. Say your mom for man for a man for Juma Munusono. They will find a way to earn decent living. Because sometimes when a man for Kasana her salaries a man for any our chrome hire. We have best show because system being who are check some of these things. Exactly. You understand? So we need to restructure the system in such a way. And a lot of them are also. And the Abasana Nipania just a comedy is Nabosome or converted to Ghana, Sikam 5,000, 6,000, and they will go. But the horrible ordeals these people get exposed to out there. There are no ladies or Moko or Mama Beam. They didn't go who Okona Ghana near San Suni Omo, not Tarabro Science, so now Uchi Abro Sign. Oba kanokre all because of this is a modern day slavery people are being subjected to, because they have everything, natural resources, gold, diamond, but few people are utilizing it to their benefit. As a son, man and a man for resources are meant to benefit them, no? They are suffering. Go to Obuasi the last time we spoke about it.
Yeah.
If you would do Obuasi, you see hopelessness, you see desperation, you see diseases because of the toxic environment that you're creating. But no, the core beneficiaries, you know, I him for more cat. And then penny for and your friends say company no even social corporate social responsibility that must be rendered to the people. Or land now where the you're taking away from you. So living there now, your life is in danger. You understand? Is this the reason why recent times see young people mining areas, sometimes you cannot blame them, because first no free but then because of the information is available, you know, they've been able to identify, say no, they have a stake in that resources, and they must claim it. Exactly. Across South Africa, some of these things has been happening. So this is the time for us to also look at our mineral regime, just to ensure, say, yebenya a good cut from Yankasa natural resources. Now, you see a Nimyansa, resources, you say, you have between 5%, between gold, number royalty. The Nipa the Senatia, yes, and she say, oh, you go, you die. Yeah, the about 90% come out for some too, but then Nimdia bar to a pointer. When your natural resources now won't mean to you just high services of individual with the capacity of meeting who we are, you pay them, you own it. That is what countries are doing. So gold na when you won't mean to, you don't have employ people, pay them, let them extract the gold, you pay them, you own it. That is what everybody is doing. But I know your friend is saying lithium. You saw what happened. And your friends a percentage, and the resources go away. These people, capital flight, they export everything out of this country. So I know the day, you know, you could parliament with GDP, but on minor home, other critical indicators and the countries they use as to whether their people are doing well or not. This human development index and so forth, people don't even talk about it. But and on the capture the real life of every single individual, or lifespan, literacy, and a whole lot of personal development and so forth. But some of these things are your priority, because government now set it up, you know, factor human welfare, factor human development, factor individual progress. Now, avenue for few people to become rich, and that is all that leadership power is about. This is the time for us to change that narrative, and I expect President Mahama to leave that particular course and ensure, say, Ghana for he will come with a renewed hope at Ghana for. Benya said now no and near Master.
All right. Issues be trade will chrome before I call strike actions the last time closer to 4 days I mean so much who you grandpa. Now President Mahama from fan show manai. Hey, go for a bounty page you my what I say? Star 413 hash option 4 no air cash flow. And che ye koye nim kakra meba be che wusika enti mesrew bo homoden so do number beto ye system no eso star 413 hash option 4 star 413 hash option 4 na what the number add to your system no eso unya 5 Ghana cedis na what media to so na ba no e draw so mu a na e ma guarantee say automatically betimi a win big enti na che say e ho asem enonom ba me sure say from weekend na besi sabre ya te say me dey ameda so can be and because and I be na na create confusion be and I start inviting crofo sky train home sem ma te say na no yesi jogati koye na professor me konfu koye na abronya de nsem hu no kokekan and ma wo mo inviting no ti yan say so far so good keka invitation na ekoso no ebomu a ma ye hope bi.
Oh yes, I think so, and I like the approach. Enya gidi say yakwa so bi na to come ya chechere no because Professor your friends am ya confidie. I'm told he was invited.
Yes.
And then he went there with his lawyers. That should be the formal way. Yakobo will be them yakochewa na jo na they chichiri wani no sa na money belong to antiquity. Modern times ya you mean se nipa no afoma. Just go through due process and make sure you deal with the person. And that's how we crack in China. The reason why the last time I was talking about how a Kenofurata home was raided without due processing and so forth, you shift the attention and the focus to some incident, you know, but people lose focus on Neman and any panaya. Then you buy sympathy for the person.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yes. So I think that this time around the approach is good because Makachro say we cannot live in a country where people mess up and get away. Because some of the big people involved in some of these scandals, they had classmates, and their classmates could have decided, say, we will not be politicians. I'll go to the field of medicine, or be a nurse, or be a say. But the mere fact that you chose politics doesn't mean that you are better than that person. But because we have, your friend saying, the way I say politics, I say, we know politics, we are billionaire. At all costs, you must make money. And whatever means possible. See your mind, see a boy mind come, see a new. So I bet an easy way of making money. So you see that now, everybody want to join the political bandwagon. Because that is the sure bet. This time I'll become rich. Because the system is gaping. There is no sense of responsibility. There is nobody in charge. No oversight responsibility. State institutions are weak. And they do whatever that they want to do. They get away with it. This is the time for us to look at the narrative and send signals to people. Say, governance, leadership, politics in this country going forward, it's no longer business as usual. That there is a conventional red lines that has been established. Our government is so determined. Say, if you go beyond this limit, now don't support or mind sikama, there will be consequences for you. That is the only way we can deal with some of these things. But my culture says, in our individual nature, even a hakrayati, Obia in their free will will be evil and commit atrocities. But the menu who said there are consequences for our actions. We are not doing home, but Omana team now say we are there. Consequences be anyhow. People become rich overnight buying properties, and there is no system in place to check lifestyle. People owning chains of buildings and so forth. How they got the money? Because in other jurisdictions, America and other places, among for your rich, they are there is a paper trail you can find out and identify where the person earned a single cent. As tax and so forth. Ghana and Kwan will be popping up all of a sudden. Now only chains of buildings. Where they got that money from, nobody knows. I think that media for us as for chairman. No. Chairman. Then yes. So I think that is the problem. We must begin to change things in such a way. Say, other countries are doing. If you go to a place like China, that is what we need to do in this country. But you see, we got to a point. State institutions and the avenues and they motivate a man for to engage in some of these things. You their course or Yoko. You who their course of special prosecutor and as a forum individuals now investigating ended up to be heroes. Then the state institutions ended up being demonized. You who their toe, your first even Kiseja, Martina Midu, and several other way. I think that here, the last time I catch us as I fight corruption, and you must set up office of the special prosecutor, and you must set up this. What you need is political commitment. Say me presidency way me dey atola and so just to ensure say I may deal with issues of corruption. But ade ba ko a edi enya okroma issues of corruption. And sa sika na ye yisu a yemfa nyansa nto ho aban sika ntino they can just invest it in any venture. For instance, Sky Train
$2 million.
$2 million. Company na oye nka obeye sa de no krom ha kro nyansi ha. Any assessment, any feasibility study, but nipa da seni tenase at the comfort of their destiny. Sika way we can find a paper trail, and you realize that the Sikano Anko company be a man for Botomu Kroma.
That was under the watch of his Joe Gatti, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Joe Gatti.
Exactly. Now, train the name from no crown, your cocoa season. You see, sometimes I can't say, Nyansa, a tira, a general who train the name from no crown, you were saying any other general. And at a cabinet meeting now with reasonable people and somebody raised this particular point, that automatically you tell the person that this is absolute nonsense. Because there was a train me and Kroma, Yara for train be ultima dead as a form, and we are not able to deal with it. You're talking about Sky Train, and you paid $2 million. I got to across our groby with Nipanizo, and this is a Maya $100 month for to the stand say Yetiana Donald Trump a cancel a USAID, you know. How people are seven.
Yes.
But the money comes in and we are foolishly throwing it out. Sikano months out of more. So he making sure that Sikano also the and the day has come, the reality has dawned on us. So I think that we must begin to do some of these things and implement some of these harsh policies. Wherever we ever find a honor, or say business as usual. So the special prosecutor say you say BNIO, we are not expecting say we be dress rehearsal as usual. For those populist we invite we nothing comes out of it. Ghana for want a concrete action plan regarding all these cases, because corruption of course under Kufuor time I'm not answer discuss here and then you see you be from your friend saying I think La Paz side oh baby this new meter is here about more air force to the man for you omo ko bo mo nyina wo sa part ni nyina no almost for the past 1 week ni omo light adum
and I say be na me experience
yes
because you say a new meter
exactly who from obi amfiu
o fra the last time na low currents
good
also air conditioner enya aduma
that is the same
fridge enya bulb ni sisu but yentimi fa light na nya hwe
exactly
and I was like what is happening after there off craft nanu nyina
sa omo amonye new meters ni bia the same thing almost over but enam say somebody procured and say eguwa yeah because we cause financial loss to the state
by force
meters na wo ho na enyanse ye no omu tutu for I think that quickly government need to move in because every single person bia when a new meter ni bia is going through this low current challenges and I am telling you say La Paz people have been complaining for the past 1 week in here omo da sumu light in this so Bob no say yes and these people are still in town or move to 2 amount 4 meters still airborne new meter because somebody went to buy those meters and I say you're born by force my make sure says Sikano your friends and also baby. These are we cannot use state institutions to do some of these things. Challenges now man for no or from because people have been calling ECG for the past 1 week 2 weeks in here the whole community there is no light because of these new meters and the part of most suffer when new meters no more and nobody is going to their aid and what you have to credit who light but who need light. And there is nobody who complaining.
I was thinking Monday, yes. Monday no area I pon we juma ye coffee. And yes, so light no asa. Adem light ni yentimi fanya de papia. And ye to 100 cedis Monday because me say oh me na me pesa me hwe say what 100 cedis e be di nothing. Yes. See ye to 100 cedis Monday. And Wednesday. Nasa.
Yes.
So I was surprised and I'm like it doesn't mean say every 24 hours biano you be consuming 100 cedis.
Exactly. And that is the challenge. And as same way, so be a phone line too much. You will see number of people complain about this new meters and as a phone or mobile. And the challenges, this low current issue. Won't be fun charge you phone cry. This is a major challenge. So the question is, your friend saying, near my bed or more, due diligence burn on we before doing some of this because what I know is never be at the same ground.
A damn thing for there be smart if I remote to Kitwa be away. That remote to Kitwa way. Sa meter way no.
Yes.
And no be near you.
Yes.
Light and a banner more way.
Good.
Wait.
Yes.
I have also a condition and fridge and so
yes.
Won't even blend the idea.
And you are not the only person going through this. I'm telling you, Nipo my friend bro 10 echo 20.
Hey.
At the same challenge that we go through. And you see, your machines is not for problem, baba. But how you respond to the challenges and address them
exactly
it's a major thing. Oh, from we tell you could be crab and can quite as a bachelor. And these are the challenges people are going through. In this state, you know, that is meant to be solving problems, you know, it's creating problems because somebody is forcing a particular way, from a number of reasons I can't tell, or because of this, but the thing is causing problem for a man for, and that is the side we are looking at. I am not looking at say a civil cost or whatever. I'm looking at the challenges people are going through. They may have their reasons for bringing some of these things, but it must not affect a man for.
Exactly.
What you feel na uda sumu why nyama light off na for and nobody is doing anything about it. I think we need to look at some of these things. Now making sure that state institutions, you know, will be effective. They will be candid and do things in a manner sabi a man for a humbato mo na young man may yes me ya kwaje me cat because my crab meters are buying the cock some meter or craba because buying over the cock. I see a cran and tem na the background na jeje no hono ma wie na ye jagum na ye ja no hoko. So the interest of the state no even because the thing is supposed to serve a purpose. The thing is creating problem for people. And nobody is as somewhere because the widespread complaint now, but you expect by now officially there have been a statement out there clarifying why some of these challenges are happening and an assurance say you will deal with the situation. What's the Obia? Nobody has spoken about it because they don't care, they don't respect us. And this narrative, new narrative, must not include some of these practices. And I think they're going forward, you know. We need to look at some of these things now. Buying finding an form now you feel across every sector, just to ensure that the due diligence and due process will be followed everywhere. Sabe ya man for use in the name of mewaha. Now you personal business. At the end of the day, na Ghana for there so far. So yeah, the fight against corruption include all these things.
Serious and
yes, yeah, wide.
But in fact, well, as someone okay, government
yes. Yeah, and call a pass a whole community, ne kwashe my inside or the whole for the past 1 week. Omuni light na ebeba, but won't even find charge phone. Yes, and all these people going through these new meters I install for a man for. Oh, how can you do this? This is a crowd. You can't do this. They disrespect you so much. So I think government will have to move in and whatever they need to check some of these meters and ensure that they are indeed your friend saying a several purpose of Ghanaians and son of the Bayer
the same problem no more a creative ma a career was so many aside or money.
Yes, Muntia
bill, yeah. Tokwa Brema, Nipakura, yes, a Bimukras, what did them?
Yes,
a terrible,
yes,
because they meter politically a Yinomumi and Kobo, your boy and your fan to ECG system. So, over the years, now Omuntia bill. And all of a sudden, boom, near Comani Pabaco bill bears a 200 million. Over Quadani Pano cry, dear Noye. She was both to so I had there or no better than 200 million.
Yeah, and I know, and I'm your mind, you see, the procurement regime now, Kasa, in some of these state entities and enterprises, you know, we need to look at it again.
Exactly.
Say ECG source or kotomita new one about. What are some of the processes, the procedures, the near form just to ensure that the model banner valid and your individual now China will be a cost side near media boom and or the Bragana. It is about how I ebenya na yenya cut free home. I don't know whether some of these things go through due processing as well. And due processing na go through no kwano. Nipa no moto ni na politically exposed individuals. So at the end of the day, they just sign go bring it. At the end of the day, you know, the state will suffer. And some of these procurement breaches in as well go through almost every single state institution in this country. Time has come for us. So I say, you see, governance and daily no solve problems. And some of these daily occurrences, you know, and as I inform you what to do. At the end of bar, you move in, you solve. A bar, you move in, you solve. Ghana and Kwan is the only place problem will come today. We wake up the next day to discuss the same problem. Next year, we come back to... The last time I was talking to you about the Auditor General report. Why will people sit at the agency and as an institution? No, what background for 1 year? There is no internal mechanism to ensure that some of these things, we stop it. Now you're questioning book the Auditor General report. No media the 1 week I discuss it ends there. We wait for another episode to come. Yeah, we are not a reasonable people.
As be a to our chance will be bokro.
Yeah, nimnyansa.
Wabokro no more report.
Yes. Report no kind the man what the when you went how the time general report no won't mean for 2 years to crank kind.
Yeah, be yes. Me I told me to be sim some kan over kanya e bu wa what me copy bi so na obu afu no dia kan.
So and at the end of the day no nothing comes out of it. And nipa no mo your friends say agency institution level no onim say no nothing will come out of it. So they will continue. Now what be say why would somebody sit at National Service Secretariat now what cookie ghost names for 7 to 8 good years? Auditor your friends say I controller and accountant general department bisa won say due diligence ben ye and say you tia man for ka processes ben you go through do we verify accountants no more this institution you know how are they able to check say individual here this sika money or you nipa work grant or yeah juma na account number no. You see, we don't do some of these things. Parliament, I had the list na command and say do oversight responsibility. No, were they able to cross-check? So let's run as against people on the ground. No, does it tally? You see, Obia, you know, mind who Obia Sebabi Obenya Bibiadi. And I think that is something that President Mahama must be committed to changing.
Okay.
Because you change ya. Now, my catches are what you say, Yankopon Bay Ghana Bay, ya bottom, Yankopon Yadagio. Yamin to show mine anywhere. Young Kasa and you better show mine. Nyansa na ya woni nyame dia mind, the rest is up to us. See the boy ya one bro the bedo. Na say nyame bo we has how many years in here? Over 10 million years atwam. Ye be yank ye. Ya mentality and kwan fa so ya dwen abro ne pese menkum nya no ye da until say somebody will rise to the occasion and say hey I'm in charge of this country and this is the direction that I want this country to go and you are taking no prisoners. That is the only way. We need that kind of strong, determined, decisive leadership that will say this is what I want, this is the vision, I am driving everybody along, either you stay or you drop. That is the only thing. Anya this country will get nowhere. Some of these institutions, you see, parliament, they will go there, they will joke, and they call to crash. Executives sometimes partisan business and as a forum. So maybe some way a Ghana nina when you linked to any political party. Which institution can you trust say they will do a deal open?
Now say it means now but say a predicted court judgment.
Exactly.
I didn't be see that.
Exactly.
I said, well, it's me read as you away. Well, more quite we are not so and one on back.
And you see, you cannot blame them. And I've told you that you see, your constitution, you know, several portions of it outlive the essence and usefulness regarding where we are today. And there are a lot of ambiguity in our constitution. And those gray areas give judges discretionary powers to decide. And unfortunately, we have judges, some who are so corrupt to the extent say, oh no, they are there doing partisan business. So to take away that excessive discretionary power from judges, you look at the constitution, you review and give clarity to some of the clauses. For instance, the say we are Ghana di now kura your friend say American passport with me MP yes, obi na tena say no say allegiance and citizenship or equity through Supreme Court ruling. Because allegiance is different from being your friend say obi only allegiance to a country, no, different from being a citizen. Because Akufo-Addo na ban ni nkrofo abraba mbeboye, do you believe that they own allegiance to this country?
Because America.
So you cannot equate allegiance to citizenship. Allegiance agasa abraba boni ni say nkrase se mbe no kroma ti at this country ma o man abofom no enkomo nye. So you can't say allegiance is equal to but because the law is gray on those areas, you know, somebody gave that interpretation, and we are here today. And again, as we speak, say Obi ko parliament and I know na me catch it. He found a journey officially a beginning from. As then when nipa na converting ya the party. And now I ECG, yes, electoral commission forms our fele. And now ya to about man awie. Now you declare no. And now say you find say yes when in. And he found a start free. That is the problem I had dealing with question. And as we there's no clarity in our law. So that particular thing will give judges power to put their interpretation there. And maybe you can't challenge them because the law is at the bosom of the judge. So I know that they want because the ambiguity in the constitution is so clear. So we need to look at some of these things and redefine them. So that who read on the surface of it, you know, you see, say these are clear terms, or be interpreted, then you can come in and say, and say, but there be one problem. You be kwaba you be kwa ba you be jachi kwesi issue no ba won say obi a drop citizenship allegiance once obi aka ye ko parliament ahwan you be chance next year be sian ba biem then na radio so are busy. We are not serious people.
More vehicle maintenance allowance abansi wo drop it there near omu adwuma.
Yeah, I think Ghana now no Bakato say a serious country. We are not serious. So sometimes people tend to take certain decisions out in chance. Now what is happening? As President Mahama appoint you to GES. And for one of the institutions, and for that water,
Closac.
Yes.
Deaf and deaf.
Good. Yeah, workers. You see, so we are Ghana, now we are Jumainia. I cannot take away your right to protest because even the constitution, make it quite clear. So when you're comfortable with your working conditions, everything, you have every right to protest in the way of ensuring, government a baby amount. And in that protestation, there are procedures, there are options, alternatives that you can employ. One has to do with negotiation, then as a forum such discussions. But you see, to withdraw services, because allowances are not ideal incentive for your demand because of a Juma. A bonus because of extra stuff that you do. So because of that, withdrawing services because of those extra way, does not make sense when your base pay is for the job that you do on daily basis. But you see, and I'm saying over the years, we are not critical people. We don't look into some of these things. But I'm entitled to car maintenance allowance. But you are not being paid because of car maintenance allowance. You are being paid because of your base salary. So base salary now who argue you can withdraw services and talk to government.
Exactly.
But the allowance, you based on negotiations, we don't withdraw services. I don't know if you get a point that I'm making.
I understand that because allowance in there
yes.
But what catch you na nkasa there no ye adwuma wo ye
so you can't withdraw when you don't have any issue with your destiny.
Your salary.
But you have. I'm not saying you cannot. Your friends say negotiate and not protest. You can still protest, but you don't withdraw service. There are several ways you can engage government just to ensure or making sure that those incentives are available to you. I don't know reasons why government would decide to take such initiative away, but some of these things has to do with proper negotiations, discussions, and I'm not sure that government will just wake up and say, I'm taking them away. There could be reasons. So whatever it is, you have your friends saying the power to engage, discuss, and have some of these things. Now, anything will be outside my withdraw services, there are no consequences. Donald Trump government even my withdraw services. Exactly. And Ghana is the same thing. There are a lot of people sitting home. So if we decide that our approach is to hold government hostage, you are forced. A time will come, a group of people will go and sit home and people will go and take their position. Maybe a president, that is some of the options that I will consider. Because you cannot hold me hostage. Trust me, I am the man in charge, making sure that I drive the larger vision of the people of this country and to ensure we achieve what we want to achieve. Look at where Ghana is today. Economically, we are not doing well. Things are ayabasa. So you need to drive cautiously just to ensure you fix things as you go. But at the early stages of government and people decide, because of car maintenance allowance, because of this allowance, when your base pay is being paid, you don't have any issue. Recently, we had this 10% increment, which a lot of people have concern about. And so, the economy, you expect government to give 50%. People are even lucky that at these early stages, President Mahama has been able to give 10%. Economy now, maybe you don't understand. I wish you could project Ghana economy for people to see the state of Ghana's economy. And trust me, maybe in 10% you can overdrop it. Yes. So I think that these are some of the things that we need to do. But just draw back and there are legitimate costs, there are legitimate concerns. Every Ghanaian who are dissatisfied with the working conditions, because some of these monies, one way or the other, are also back in their way. But you have to withdraw services. That is not the way to go, because your base salary, there is no problem. these allowances, you can still be at the job place. Now one negotiating with government. There are several ways I'll be to me here to get government attention just to ensure that, but always withdrawing services. At the end of the day, the impact will go on all of us. And then omo yesa no impact no emfili. But we yesa na. What about other sensitive institutions that when they withdraw services, it affects Obia? Just imagine say you have certain nurses and the doctors to say. So no, you can't allowance in as if for hospital be anyhow. Do you know what will happen in this country? So when it happens in some of these areas, I'm on for our dream, but go to the other side and will be a feeling impact. That's how hypocrite is the reason why I am adopting this approach in dealing with this matter, so that across boards, the benchmark will be the same thing. Stay, negotiate, and make sure say you get better conditions. But here you will draw a service. Just imagine doctors and nurses decide to go the same way. Can we survive in this country? And going forward, I think the government must also come in just to ensure, say, emolument regime, is so skewed to the stand, say, a benefiting majority of people and other people suffer. For instance, now, Mamia or SICCOE, or the on Casadine earnings, but to Gaya, Utu when you know something one person is enjoying as a CEO of SIC. Na obia ono se medical doctor wa bra ba doctor at the hospital baby na at the end of the month ono 12,000 onya as a salary obinya 10,000 as a salary obinya 13,000 na obi because or your CEO at a particular way allowance onya no kwa so chan o salary as a doctor I would treat life as a nurse. I know that we are humans. People begin to do comparison as a form, and I know that the motivation, the intrinsic motivation, for you, they will not do it. So I think we need to target our emolument structure. Now you're making sure, say, the obia deserve no nsabeka. Now kwasi ya packet at the end, then you know, kogu baby, see will be. Your friend saying,
because sometimes I don't understand. Says you will be none. You have to say president.
Exactly.
Does it even make sense?
Me say CEO no crowd these state-owned enterprises go there and check, none of them and they make a profit. These are debt your friends saying driven in your friends institutions. None of them and they state-owned enterprise quite recently you saw the report over 2.2 billion your friends saying Ghana cedis eka and omodeba in this country for the past 4 to 5 years now you're over 10.2 billion. So institutions and agencies that are supposed to make profits, or they are running debt, but they are the very people who are best paid in this country. Who at the same Bank of Ghana, or not to meet now when you are over best 60 billion. Now or take fast salary allowance who tia man who cry over 50,000 a month and then as a phone. So I know the day
or being fear do a catchia.
Exactly.
No, I general me back.
And what we don't value in this country is services being rendered by people I am value of no nina count them on mine no police in here you have been saying here but police for you now will draw from the system. Do you know what will happen in this country? Look at teachers, look at nurses, obia who here, and we need to structure the emolument distance as a nipa the base salary enough. They will not complain about car allowance and as a for them to withdraw their services. It's just there is a fundamental problem. Or to know Article 71 holders, Bafu, Yamane gardener, Yamane security, Yamane cook, Yamane driver, Yamane Yafanzan bed allowance, hook allowance, all those nonsense of allowance, entertainment allowance, or 2 kaya per diem. Then as for we pay in dollars for them. So one person at the end of the day is going home a month with over 1 million Ghana cedis. The same teacher near okra similar qualification wa go to amount for Lego wakobi. Amount for UCC wakobi. Wa go through a biako okra first class and other classroom or the child there. But because the choice is on this side of a coach the salary. Yeah. Na yere ne ma da be teacher ni bi a minim no. Ordinary catch you in Ajamo, some now would be free or more than yeah. But some is on salary, I can do 600 Ghana cedis. Every Americans will be bringing the Mabe 6. I think there is a fundamental challenge. President will have to set up a committee. The emolument structure of this country will have to be looked at.
Now, that tripartite committee, can't they do Sanyama way my
yeah, okay, committee. I want to committee no more tea anymore. Nkasa what they are gaining is what and this is Ghana for you. Committee na yateno or not tenacia. Go and look at allowances and the benefits they are asking for. Until it ends there. It ends where their interest ends. When I call negotiating for wine, I said we are making, you know, it's a fundamental problem. We need to look at overhaul this emolument structure and say qualification. It doesn't matter where you are. If you go to America, there are people or Juma or even filling station or any better than somebody in government.
Yeah.
There are people need so push your friend saying almost a sabola. The earnings will be all Juma somewhere in government. It is about what you do. Because we don't value other services. Within services, and I say, honorable, take care now. What about radio station? Now, upon no beard in a chill. Honorable. It's all that life is about. You're born now. No, 100 Ghana, no, a child, and if I better, that is honorable for you. But services are way be all rendered. No, such a what the honorable is rendering.
Yeah.
Because look at somebody or engineer in America. Obi or a medical doctor in America in a hospital. The people he's serving. How many politicians and a year do so you need to pay such people well so that the say honorable no ban no because baby on he's earning well. So teacher in our Ghana they are earning well. Doesn't matter where you post that person. People will stay. Now you know obviously Jena Fato BBD, that kind of stuff. There be an Gunisu dinner terms our mobra, but he's working for government. Nemagunisu they can't attend good schools in as a forum, but oh yeah, Jumama buying. What will be the motivation? Or quite Juman 1 week, or quite 3 days, no way. So there is a fundamental problem. I am expecting President Mahama says, Nema win Chema on sit down. Now, you shed a emolument structure across board. Now you review. Now you're making sure that the base salary of every single Ghanaian, something, worthy. Some people who know, you see, allowance, I cannot blame people who drain services because of salary. Now your salary,
allowance,
exactly. Salary, so allowance in the idea, I get them going. But we live in a country of about 33 million Ghanaians. Yeah, people who work for government are less than 800,000. But omo government appointees can't say we no sika omoje eso change the entire people. I just say we are sick as a country. Abaye politics and abaye nice avenue people are making money. So I think we need to sit down and think. You see, Ghana at this point we need thinkers. People will be able to diagnose the challenges, the problems, and for fair solutions address it. And then commitment to do is another thing. That is the only way. Ever say, and Kaban say, Obi has a president, baby. But that is the only way you can make money. But I don't know, Obi a teacher, Obi a nurse, Obi a doctor. He will not be waiting for government appointment. Because Obi America now or a nurse or work here hourly, or earning the big money. And monthly, he's doing well. They don't even waste their time talking about politics. You only hear politics when they are going to the next election. But from day one to the next to election day, there be a politics. Because that is the only way a man for we eat. About radio, so no, come out on number, no, honorable, and then me come out. Now I send you 200 a man, honorable, me come out. A serial caller, as all count number, some man or recording, no Sunday man. And you see, these people, you can't blame them. There is no job opportunity. The people who are supposed to create the incentive will not create. They want to own everything so that we become slaves. That was the last time I was telling you, say, politics, leadership in our part of the world, poverty, a tool, a deliberate political tool, impoverish the people, enslave them so that always and always they see you when you come to their aid as their God. That is the politics that is happening. And the Oko constituency are not pa, MP no bahono munyata sawa. The whole constituency jitri ni akujina na ponano. Honorable me ware this weekend o me adoring. Honorable me na nawu. And we MP no constituency within a weekend we di ho agrabeto fundaka be 40. Because obi ni nipa wu di the constituency no obi eba ho. Well, you are the only person they look up to. Also we need sasika, what do you have to do? Someone so we twa cut corners to get something. Obi a okoye wedding about honorable. Now we need sika okoye wedding. But omu nyina beba ho. Me yera honorable, me yera wo, honorable me ba school fees. But that is the culture we have created. Creating an impression say we are politics in my avenue, we are rich. And all all the emoluments near a channel to you, but you are spread it across border. Obi oye teacher ni. Why would the person go to honorable for your friend saying for sika? Say or the kutia ne ba medical bills na se for them. We need to restructure the emolument way no. Sabaya wherever we are finding a honor. Life will be comfortable, so that you may not have to depend on Obi. This life of dependency, this slavery kind of way, emolument structure, and look how Obi and President Mahama will have to look at it and make sure say you review the emolument structure, say even across board, depending on Aduma not where you are. It should be what you do. So it's possible say Obi onam. Kroma also Zoom lion baller no or any better than Obi or bank. It should be possible because hard work pays. Elsewhere in America, hard work pay.
Oh, I had a hard work be and pay. People you work smart.
Yes, and now no, Madam for be frame also ye broni be adwuma no mo kwa. Omo ye ya jeje obi a phones and they'll make sure say 5 hours now you work 5 hours. Kroma obi kwa adwuma ko report for no nam afenyo kwasra na girlfriend. People don't work, so I know the day hours na the year adwuma no. What is the productive output? Why not quantify upon all the economic discussions across Kroma? What is obi the data be able to anim say Ghana for your adwuma 1 hour, this is our productive output. What be that? People they don't even go to work. You go to work play, people are not there. But ukwa abuechira na yakase warehouse na wo ya. Say boxes na wo peja. Wo page 1 hour no be peja boxes 50 minutes. Non stop. And sana maybe you go break oba be year you are working. But that thing is not there. Clock in, clock out. In government institution, there should be a system that clock in, clock out is there. So that Nipano every day we are able to monitor. So at the end of the day, controller and accountant general will get the data to be able to assess Nipano 28 days, this number of days, you are entitled to your full salary. One car. There should be a way. You see? So as a smart government, and I make us say, you see, or you're smart or you're smarter as government. Okay. So in a day, you make sure they clock in every 2 hours. Oh, Master, we are smarter. You should be smarter. Every 2 hours you clock in.
And I want to have my baby.
Exactly. Obisun clocking mobi. You force people to be at work. And I think some of these things.
Government institutions, you have a corner to a man who credit you.
Yes.
Back on what chin any. Who be some crown, where she and you crown.
Na adia san ye nansa mi ko ba bi se mi kota de nipa na o te kanta no ejina TikTok e na te sa asa wo bona so ma for work time e no no hwe TikTok e na ye bia sound de asama wo kan kra government institution working time ye jina TikTok e hwe ma mo sa that kind of nonsense. The culture is so sick. I think
social media and I'm a boy and crowd. You did say Munoro. Yansha
Nankama made us on Pipin not YouTube video be at them. Oba Penny was sorry, Nesecro Pipi, not some cameras. No, dear man for them. And also the achievements. I don't know.
Yansha, your last topic in Afi, Yenny Hearts Builders and met to us. So, may I sure they say Boko, Yenny Mara. Asem no ka na asem hwanyan enti bibi ketwa bi ekwa keka ne ho pe na asan aginsemu yese enkura yi a wo mo ewo senior high school yi ye ka ne sen Boko Technical Institute na afi senior high school ba ko ewo wo mo ye peace ceremonial
okay
adane tokwa ama wo ma ko abro mo ho sai niema oh god. Yeah,
I think that Boku issue, gradually get it out of hands. And I think that there should be a serious approach. You see, over the years, that mediation, reconciliation, that kind of way, it doesn't seem working. I don't know what the fundamental problem is, but whichever way you see it, it's tribal. There is this ethnocentric dynamics. And when people get peeved based on tribal sentiment and as for now, deep-seated and deep-rooted. It's very difficult to do away with it. That is why I think we need to look at the problem and devise means of. There are concerns on your friends that we are man for accuse some individuals of sister two from Accra to some individual fueling the conflict in as a forum. I think the government must come out with a definitive approach. I bet me what decisively to do with some of these things. You see, issue now, bana individuals are among victims. There are people, the perpetrators. How do we even deal with them? We cannot just say it's just war, conflict, so you commit atrocities and get away with it. When we get people involved in some of these things, the punishment should be so severe and so consequential to the extent that nothing will motivate you to do some of these things. But Boko conflict is starting here. The corporate,
from
one who says severe punishment to be a baby. So there is enough motivation for people to do. Guns that people where they got it from, you don't even know. Sometimes you do search and you're able to identify people owning guns in as a forum, and we've been able to question them. How we need that particular gun? Because to get a gun, it might come from somewhere because baby we free, there should be a paper trail. We should be able to identify some of these things. So I think government will have to, and then I am for no more honor, or we are behind some of these things. Then we also speak to them, because the communities these things are happening. The economic deprivation there is so astonishing. So nipa not to so but offenses obeying access to gun to go and kill Ninuya. Because of chieftaincy, because of whatever reasons. And this thing has been dragging for far too long. I'm free said, whatever the problem is, there must be a decisive action from government just to ensure say we end this nonsense once and for all. Because at the end of the day, the amount of money our state spending, sending troops, soldiers, can equally give life to young people. Go to among Krano, among Mututo to Okono, life live. And these are some of these young people who have a lot of talent, opportunity, potential, but because the elderly are blinded with some of this tribal nonsense in Intino, they don't even see the potential in their own kid, and they need for them to stop this nonsense and make sure say Sikano will be invested in their kid, because some of these atrocities being unleashed on themselves, they are passing it down to their kids. They will come and continue because ne papa chance and the enemy ne papa na onanam hono, they will grow to hate them. You understand? So I think that this nonsense, government is also working to ensure that they stop. The people out there, nankasa tama sesi omuhu nyansa hunse baby atama do no sa tribal nonsense we mfa nko baby a development any here. If you don't want development for yourself, fight it for your own people, your kids. Your children deserve better. You need to put them in good schools and make sure say they don't grow up in such a toxic environment, because they will become what you are. Your kids will become what you are and what you're doing. So this whole thing will continue in their entire life. They will grow hating one another, and other people elsewhere are growing in an environment where they are being exposed to AI, computers, and as for them. And at time you see, so you become useless in the world environment because a man for growing up. These are some of the things your parents got you exposed to. Papa for no government has a responsibility to ensure that this nonsense stop, but the ultimate responsibility rests on the chiefs. And somebody needs to look to them in the face and tell them this ugly truth. And yet there be a government in Sunday truth. The ultimate responsibility rests on the chiefs. I don't know, it's a diamond or whatever. For what reasons? I think we need to speak in plain languages to the chiefs, both sides. No one who say what they are doing is absolute nonsense. There is no space for such things in this modern society. What here we are thinking Internet of Things. We are thinking progression. We are thinking about your friends say how we can reposition this country. Say young people will take advantage. That young people include people at Boko, young people at Boko. And lawyers some can grow to become way, but if this is what they are being exposed to, what is the chance that they can even go to school? Well, I'm told school don't cry treasure to me. Yes, sorry, dying. What to come to me by use a market I'll come home free tribe when will be a kunkwa. Such nonsense cannot continue. So government, in as much as I blame government for some kind of way, we don't see that safety way, a buying cannot stop the conflict until the people there are ready to give up. and they need to partner and make sure say because sika ayeko ha ye to be ya niam betimi aye obekọ na nipa ne nantwie enu minsuo from form enti wunya pipe bon water wo mpe na sika na ye to gu no na ye me ya no say enkra maye o mu free north ebakumas be ye kaye ya ohu ebinum a omo ho fe young people with great talent. But because of baby opportunities are not there, they are forced to come to Kumasi to do kaya or bar. Because of our opportunity, no being na kwakoda. Now I am nebano crow ni papa. Now crash and a chair no panel some pure water or so we air kaya ye. You can't condemn people to this barbaric culture. It is not nice.
So far so good. Appointment committee Juma Wamo ye. Me assure say one monitor kakra you no in a political angle. The air cost no say na wuhuno.
CTV at your point na pay. The minimum says and confirm am penia power mo some go na demo. Positions, different positions, ministerial positions near there. No, good one. It's about 90-something% there. I think they demonstrated that they know what they are about. With a few commissions here and there from the minority leaders, our ranking member, I started with this idea of being given the opportunity to have a limitless number of questions to ask, limitless time to ask these questions. Some of us condemn that particular privilege because it just does not make sense. And Ushemwa, at the end of the day, he ended up asking questions that were silly, that didn't make any sense. He ended up repeating himself. On several occasions. He ends up asking a question, then he will abandon that question, put something else. I mean, you can't do the way and manner. By the way, questions. Apart from that, I can also say that other times too, he's proving worthy of that particular position. It's not always been negative. So. But occasionally, I don't know if it was on your platform. I see a parliament about and the way and manner he reacted to certain things, that the way he spoke to the speaker. I described him as someone who lacked emotional maturity. And you could see that he has still not displayed emotional maturity for me. Until in as much as a baby or mother, at other times he displays that emotional immaturity.
Okay, don't make sure, sir. Enra monitor certain kakra. What you monitor Deputy Attorney General designated near a seat between One chairman and here for. What's your take on that? Where's or you sue ye and your forecast on train sign or see one train sign? Emma or Casa said, "Your money, Mr. Question beam," and for that reason, or say minority in I rejected the nomination of the Deputy Attorney General.
It didn't want to share. To be frank with you, Mr. Afenyo Markin will make MPP always make or such a better pursuit. Because, as I told you, he doesn't have emotional maturity. So, with all sincerity, he doesn't have emotional maturity. The plea of the president said, one side for Bobo. And this is the source of questions that leads to a banter between you and the chairman of the committee. My goodness, if this is the kind of leadership Afenyo Markin is going to provide for the minority, then they will stay in opposition for quite some time. If this is the kind of leadership Mr. Afenyo Markin is going to provide for the minority, then MPP will be in opposition for a while.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. How? And also, it's the basis of his use of whimsical root intervention or interruption.
And a capricious.
If the basis were to be something important, right?
Yeah.
I would have deferred to him. But the basis of this attack is because you are asking the nominee to dance for Bobo for 30 seconds. It means that you want to make that man a butt of ridicule. And you see, Ushamwa, Obia, Waba, Ohana, or the one award this aura, Muno. Afenyo Markin has always targeted that person.
And to who want to say a political agenda be and we're all set.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But you see, you are supposed to do this with tact and finesse and with some maturity. I don't know, make us say. That question here will be Abranti and Dr. Støp. It was to be a useful question. And a chairman no yet to say the award will. And based upon that, no friend those names are. Everybody will have sided with you. Everybody would have sided with you. But let's ask him such a nonsensical question. So what's up, Bobo? Is that a theater? And he just wanted Trump strike, Justice Strike, whatever the name is.
Yeah.
He wanted to make him a battle of ridicule. Can you imagine, in an era of social media, this man getting up and dancing Bobo? That is what they will capture.
Exactly.
Yes. People will say they will not add the other stories. No. They will not add the background story. Or they say, into Deputy Attorney General, Pana, or you see. So, I mean, how treacherous can you be? That's why I'm concluding by saying to boycott and say, you guys are not going to be part of Justice Støp, you reject his nomination. My goodness. Boycotting of proceedings, of committees, of parliament, you see, there are things that are done on principle. What is the principle in this? Mr. Afenyo Markin should convince me. What is the principle in this? Sir, Openi, what can be better? Agbaja also educate you on Agbaja and a bobo. Into one sorry, no one sack bobo, 30 seconds. And if you have boycotted proceedings on the basis of this, I pity the MPP. I pity them. If this is the kind of leadership is going to provide, they will stay in opposition for a while. Mark it on the wall.
Okay. Doug, but you concluded your cano.
Because as a leader, you have a timer. You can be boisterous. You can be militaristic. At the time, you learn when to be diplomatic, when to show some kind of finesse, strategy. So, because politics is about strategy. If you get your strategies right, people say, that's when, every time, from the time we took over as majority leader, now minority leader, you can count the number of times that he's made mistakes. And you have the leadership following. They should sit down, have introspection of his leadership, and see whether it will really take them to the promised land.
All right, Doug Mamina Seba, what are your expectations from Sona today?
I think that the president is going to be frank with all of us.
Okay.
the extent Labour had to accept 10% minimum wage, then it means that the economy is indeed a crime scene. We need to solve the energy problem. So I'm very sure you will talk about energy. We need to see a strategy on the part of the current government of solving this energy crisis that we seem to be in. Apart from that, Galamsey is still a menace on our hands.
Sure.
So you will have to tell us the state of affairs in terms of Galamsey. Cocoa Board Chairman Dr. Radiabi has had cause to complain. I'm saying, come this year or beginning of next year or so, the European Union is going to test the metals or whatever they call that in the cocoa that we send to you. And I'm not careful that will mean will be penny gold, no, or say in the you see, make now. What I'm saying is a major cause in food inflation in this country now. Food inflation is very high in this country. What I'm saying is a major cause. And because gold yedi, almost saying na ya bra boni intima bra bono. I will say it in two. If the president decides to make me coordinator for that, they will run away from this country. Especially the Chinese. They will run away from this country. Because Enkano, I never run a Japanese. The chance to program safety, the boy who go for Bishop, the boy program safe. And see the use of excavators near there.
Yeah.
Modiabo Gumu must say as that in switch. I don't maintain. Obviously, I was what to me address the issues of the economy. That gold for oil, we almost they will have to reduce so that it serves its purpose. That is good. The slips the dollar, we need to see stability and then growth. And then most importantly, I find that for a year, Mahama Breast 2017 year people to take over. Now on my money, I can 120 billion for my cover. That's a pipe of rubber. That's at the end of the day, Yaka about 730 billion. Who keep them over 600 billion out of the economy. Me do one in Chelsea. Into no, all around accountability Ghana for Yano.
Yeah.
Which of course I spoke about it on Monday share or more manifesto accountability. That's the more reason I asked that about me. Can you investigate SML? If you should win this election, can you investigate PDF? Can you investigate Post? I mean, name them. There's scandals upon scandals.
Yeah.
Can you? You cannot. Therefore, Ghanaians will definitely change course and decide to vote for Mr. Mahama because obviously, accountability is a bit behind from that answer than from the angle of the NPP, of which Mr. Mahama was part of. So accountability is their power. And it is not by accident. Say, Abatoka 150. Now the 730. The same way I can. A quarter trillion.
Aye.
So,
yeah.
Now, then it's corruption is there. Now your middle name.
Exactly.
Corruption was just the middle name of President of the Party. Either say, walk home, and that's all you're behind.
All right.
Now, to be at me, at the loan, my or mine. Now, at the loan, who company in your own passport.
Hey. Not just saying, some baby.